That's okay for me. For so long, I've been trying to get you out of my head. Oh yeah, but somehow I always seem to wake up in your bed. Baby, if we talk for a minute, then maybe we begin somewhere. I just wanna love you a little to see where this is going, and I really need to know, babe. Can we just open up? 'Cause I got to know if you feel the things I do. I need some help if you let me go. 'Cause I'm flying through the sky and I'm sitting a little high on you. For so long, I've been feeling that we're more than just friends. Oh yeah, but maybe your heart is falling for someone else. Whoa, baby, we should talk for a minute, then maybe we begin somewhere. I just wanna love you a little to see where this is going, and I really need to know, babe. Can we just open up? 'Cause I got to know if you feel the things I do. I might need some help if you let me go. 'Cause I'm flying through the sky and I'm sitting a little high on you. I think that we need a guiding light. Right now we're running around in circles. But if you don't even wanna try, I need to know it. Can we just open up? 'Cause I got to know if you feel the things I do. I might need some help if you let me go. 'Cause I'm flying through the sky and I'm sitting a little high on you. I don't wanna feel this way, but it's not that easy. You're complicating things for me. No, it's not that easy. Maybe just a little time can heal me, but it doesn't feel the way. What are you doing to me? Ooh, why'd you break my heart? Ooh, left me in the dark, dark. Why'd you have to go? Ooh, I don't wanna feel this way. Though I'm broken, I'm still hoping I could be with you. I'm still breathing, it's not easy. I'm just a fool for you.
For you to relax and just take a second to arrive on your mat. So your head is relaxed either on the ground, on the mat, or if you find this uncomfortable, you can relax your head onto your hands or your forearms, or maybe you make two fists. Just start to take a few deep breaths. Send your breath all the way down to the base of your spine. And then again, like I mentioned in my last video, you can either take child's pose with your knees together to stretch out your lower back, or if you'd like to stretch your hips out more, you can take child's pose with your knees apart. Take a couple more deep breaths. Relax your hips. And then as you're ready, make your way to hands and knees or tabletop position. So right away, let's get our alignment set. Your hands are right under your shoulders, index fingers parallel to each other, and the outside edges of your mat. Press into all parts of your hands, not just the heels of your hands. This is going to help you save your wrists. So a lot of wrist pain comes from too much pressure in the heels of the hands. So you want to make sure that you're pressing in the knuckle mounds and your fingers as well. All right, spin your biceps forward so that your elbows point back towards the back of the room. Have a little bit of a bend in your arms, so not super bent, but don't block them out either. Make sure your knees are under your hips, so that's about 6 inches more or less distance from each other. Let's take a couple of cat-cows. So on your inhale, drop your belly and raise your gaze. Look up towards the sky and reach your sit bones up, shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, reverse that motion, so rounding your spine, chin to chest. Try to open the back of your heart towards the sky. And then inhale, drop your belly, raise your gaze for cow pose. And then exhale, reverse chin to chest, cat pose. Arch your back like an angry Halloween cat. So take a few more of these rounds on your own breath. Just make sure you use full inhales and full exhales. So I'm not sure if you noticed, but I actually have 2 belly button rings, not just 1. So feel free to let me know what you think about that as well. And then when you're ready, come back to neutral tabletop position. Make sure your hips are square to the mat and make your back as flat as you possibly can. So your gaze is a little bit in front of your hands and between your hands. The back of your neck is long. On your next inhale, reach your right arm to the front of the room with your thumb facing up like you're going to shake someone's hand. Plug your shoulder back into its socket, and then reach your left leg behind you. Flex your left toes towards your shin, and then take care here not to raise your left hip or lower your left hip. Try to keep your hips as square as you can. So engage your core. Press the ground away with your left hand. You've got one more inhale. Reach forward with your hand and back with your heel. And then exhale, put everything down and switch. Inhale, left hand comes up, thumb facing the top, the ceiling rather. Plug your shoulder back into its socket. Your neck is long. Take your right leg straight back behind you and then reach up with the back of your right knee as you flex your right toes towards your face. Reach everything really long, forward and back for one more inhale. And then exhale, put your hand and knee back down. This time, we're going to do that again, but we're going to add on. So raise your right arm in front of you, thumb facing up. Left leg comes up behind you, everything straight. Try to get your arm and leg parallel to the ground. From here, turn your right palm to face the ground and take it out to 90 degrees. So now your arm is parallel to the side, starting to feel your core work a little bit, right? So try to keep your hips square to the ground. And then from here, keeping your arm where it is, start reaching your left leg out towards the front of the room. So this is going to be pretty challenging. Use the outer left hip to raise your leg higher and then flex your left toes towards the front of the room. Awkward airplane pose. Press the ground away with your left palm. Take one more inhale. Keep your neck long. Exhale, bring everything back down the middle. Reach forward and back. Inhale. Exhale, put everything down and switch. So reach your left arm out, thumb facing up, and then reach your right leg towards the back of the room. Try to kick your heel towards the wall behind you. Square your hips towards the mat, and then turn your left palm facing down, bring it out to the left. Press the ground away with your right palm. Keep it really straight as you can, and then slowly start to take your right leg towards the front of the room. So activating the core a lot here. Raise your right leg, using your outer right hip. Flex your right toes towards the front of the room. Take one more inhale, everything long. Exhale, everything back down the middle. Keep it lifted for your last inhale. And exhale, release. One more inhale for cow pose. Arch your back, drop your belly, raise your gaze. And exhale, chin to chest, cat pose. Come back to neutral. Walk your hands forward just a little bit. Keep them under your shoulders. Take your legs back to plank pose, top of a push-up. So if you ever need to use your knees, please feel free to do so. Just make sure your hips are in line with your shoulders so they're not coming up or sink it. One long straight line. Take an inhale. On your exhale, lower all the way down to your mat. Elbows squeezing in towards your rib cage. Keep your hands where they are. Press the tops of your feet down. Kneecaps lift up. And then inhale, baby cobra. Starting to move a little bit. Squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you like you're trying to squeeze a pencil or a water bottle. Press your pelvis down into the mat. Press the tops of your feet down into the mat. Last inhale here. Maybe float your hands for a second. Exhale, release. Tuck your toes. Make your way back through plank, either knee plank or full plank, your choice. And then on your exhale, hips lead you up and back, downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet for a second here. Press into the mat with your hands, and remember all parts of your hands, not just the heels of your hands. Spin your biceps forward. Relax your heart towards your thighs. Really sit your hips up towards the ceiling here. And when you're ready, bend your knees deeply. Keep your arms straight, look between your hands, and then come all the way up to the front of your mat. Forward fold. So we're going to start moving through a couple of sun salutations just to build a little bit more heat. Fingertips on the ground. Inhale, half lift, spine really long. Exhale, forward fold. On your inhale, soft bend in your knees. Reach your arms out and up. Touch your palms together above your head. Hello, overhead camera. And exhale, hands to prayer. So press your rib cage, your sternum into your thumbnails here. Open your chest. Tuck your tailbone a little bit. Lift up your kneecaps so that your thighs are activated. Really strong mountain pose. So we're going to start building some heat here with the sun salutations, and then we're going to move on to build even more heat. This is yoga for weight loss, so you want to get the heart rate up a little bit, right? All right, when you're ready, inhale, arms out and up. Touch your palms together above your head. Lengthen your spine as much as possible. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, hands on the ground. Half lift, shoulders down, top of your head forward. And exhale, fold, plant your palms. Step your feet back to plank pose, high push-up position. Take an inhale here. And on your exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. Everything touches at once, not belly first or anything like that. Everything touches at once. Tops of your feet into the mat. Inhale, peel your chest open, baby cobra. Press your pelvis down, squeeze your elbows towards each other behind you, and act like you're really trying to show your chest towards the front of the room. Okay. One more inhale here. Exhale, release. On your inhale, tuck your toes, make your way back through plank, all the way up to downward facing dog. So if you watched part one, you'll see that I did a progression from, sort of slower sun salutations up through faster sun salutations. We're going to do the same thing, except a little faster. So bend your knees, look forwards, and then exhale, come to the top of your mat, step or hop. Forward fold, relax. Inhale, half lift, spine long. Exhale, fold. And your knees can be as bent or as straight as you want them to be. Just make sure your spine is relaxed. On your next inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Make your movements as big as possible. Love this camera above you here. Exhale, hands to prayer. All right, speeding it up a little bit. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And now exhale, fold, plant your palms, step back to plank or jump to chaturanga. So chaturanga is halfway between plank and the ground. It's a pretty challenging pose. Make sure your shoulders stay away from your ears and they don't come below your elbows. So if your shoulders are dropping below your elbows, you need to take your knees down. All right, on your next inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. In upward facing dog, the only things touching the ground are the tops of your feet and the palms of your hands. Roll your shoulders away from you, open your chest, look up, stretch back. And on your exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Take a second to pedal out your feet. Press into the ground with your hands so that your chest reaches towards your thighs. Really stretch out here. And then bend your knees, look forwards. Come all the way up. to the top of your mat. Right away, inhale, half lift, lengthen your spine. Again, knees as bent or straight as you need them to be. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up again, touch your palms together above you. This time stretch back a few inches. And exhale, fold right back down into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, fold, plant your palms. Take it back to plank or chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look forward. And then come all the way up to the top of your mat. Take an inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Stay folded. Bend your knees a little bit. All 10 of your fingertips on the ground. Now, bring your right foot forward so your right toes are in line with your fingers. Step your left leg all the way to the back of your mat. We're going to take some jump switches here. So, you want to make sure your core is really strong. Start to bounce a little bit, gain a little bit of movement in your hips, right? Take an inhale, prepare. Exhale, jump and switch. So you want your left foot to land so that your toes are in line with your fingertips. If this isn't happening, you can use your hand to move your left foot up. Otherwise, try to make it land as softly as possible. Try to make no noise. Land like a ninja. All right, here we go. We're going to do this a few more times. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, switch. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, switch. Inhale. Exhale, switch. A few more times, a little faster. Switch. 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 One more time on each side. Switch. And switch. So you're in low lunge with your right foot forward. Okay. Go ahead and drop your back knee down to the ground. Untuck your back toes, your left toes. Bring your hands to the top of your right thigh and then come all the way up into your low crescent lunge. So you want to make sure your hips are square to the front of the room. Make sure your left hip isn't going back too much, right? And then take your belly away from your thigh. So instead of leaning forward, your spine is straight up and down. Tailbone points down, head points up. Reach your arms all the way up as much as you can. Put a lot of length in your rib cage, both sides of your rib cage. And exhale, plant your hands. Shift your weight back over your back knee. Walk your right foot forward, flex your right toes towards your face, come into half splits. So gently pull your right hip back as you send your left hip forward, keeping your hips square. And then think about reaching your heart towards your toes. So this fold is going to look different for everyone because it's a hamstring stretch, and so everybody's got different degrees of flexibility. So work where you are, fold as much as you can. Take one more breath in, stay for the exhale. Bend back into your right knee, work your way back into a low lunge. Lift your left knee off the ground, tuck your toes. Plant your palms, step both feet back to plank pose. And then move through your vinyasa. So take an inhale here. Exhale, lower all the way to the ground or chaturanga. Inhale into cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Bend your knees, look forward, press the ground away, and then come all the way up to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. All right, we've got some jump switches again. So make sure your left toes are in line with your fingertips. Step your right foot all the way to the back of your mat. Low lunge, nice wide stance. Make sure you get a little mobility, a little momentum into your hips. Take a big inhale. Exhale, switch. Inhale here, prepare. Exhale, switch. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, switch. Remember, land like a ninja. Now we're going to speed it up. Switch. And switch. And switch. And switch. One more on each side. Switch. And switch. And then last time, switch. And with your left foot forward. Go ahead and drop your right knee down. Untuck your right toes, and then bring your hands to the top of your left thigh. Push your torso up, come to low crescent lunge on the other side. So right away here, draw your right hip forward and your left hip back so that your hips are square. Reach your tailbone down, reach the top of your head up, take the sides of your neck back. Reach your arms up above you, stretch up as much as you can. Inhale. And exhale, plant your hands around your left foot, shift your weight back over your right knee. At the same time, walk your right toes, your right foot forward, flex your left toes towards your face. Draw your left hip back, and then slowly, gently fold as much as you can, as much as is comfortable, to half splits. So keep your shoulders away from your ears here and think about reaching your heart forward towards your toes. Breathe deeply into your left hamstring. And one side might be more or less flexible than the other. It's one of the goals of yoga is to kind of balance that out, so just be patient with it. You've got one more inhale here, and exhale. Bend back into your left knee. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee back to your low lunge. Step your left foot back to meet your right, plank pose. Now this time, before we vinyasa, we've got a side plank. So from here, I'll show you a couple of different options. Your right hand is going to be your foundation. You're going to spin onto the outer edge of your right foot and reach your left hand up towards the ceiling. And there's that lovely camera angle again. So this is the full version of side plank. If you're not comfortable with this, your modification is dropping your right knee down. Keep your left foot on the mat and keep your left arm reaching up. And think about sending your tailbone towards the end of your mat. And again, your supporting arm, your right arm, is very strong here, but it's not hyperextended. So you've got a tiny little micro bend in your right arm. Take one more inhale like this. And then exhale, left hand down, take it back to plank. And we're gonna go to the other side. So inhale, prepare. Make sure the balls of your feet are touching behind you. And on your exhale, roll over to the outer edge of your left foot and reach your right arm towards the ceiling. Okay, so the modification would be dropping your left knee. If you're not modifying, make sure you're flexing a lot into both of your feet so that you don't roll over onto your ankle. Take your shoulders away from your hips or away from your ears. Reach your right arm all the way up towards the ceiling. Send your tailbone towards the end of the mat. One more inhale here, maybe smile. Exhale, right palm down. Inhale in plank. And exhale, lower all the way down to the ground. Untuck your toes, press the tops of your feet into the mat. Peel your chest open for baby cobra. Inhale here. And exhale, release. Take a minute to steady your breath. From here, work your way back into tabletop position. So from the beginning of the video, that's hands and knees. Now, come down to your elbows, grab opposite elbows with your hands. This ensures that your elbows are going to stay shoulder width distance, right? So once you've got that set, bring your forearms back to the mat and make them parallel. So your forearms are parallel to the outside edges of your mat or to each other if you're not working with a mat, and make sure they're in line with your middle finger here. We're working our way into forearm plank. Doesn't that sound like fun? Okay, from here, come off your knees into plank pose, except for on your hand. Instead of on your hands, you're on your forearms now. So tuck your tailbone a little bit, bring your hips in line with your shoulders, and then press hard into your elbows to keep your shoulders away from your ears. Think about reaching the top of your head forward so that there's no wrinkles in the back of your neck, right? So try to get the top of your head as far forward, as far away from your tailbone as possible. You've got 3 more breaths in this pose. You can do it. Send your heels back and send your tailbone towards your heels. 2 more breaths. Keep your hips square. Keep your lower ribs closed. Last inhale here. And on your exhale, release all the way down to the mat. Okay, chin on the mat. Bring your hands under your shoulders. When you're ready, tuck your toes. Lift your body up through plank and come back to downward facing dog. We're going to visit that pose again, but we're going to take a little detour. So when you're ready, keep your hips square Reach your right leg back behind you, take a big breath in, keep your hips square, flex your right toes towards your shin, and then exhale, step your right foot between your hands. So you can guide it with your hands if you want to, otherwise toes in line with fingertips, just like before. When you're ready, inhale, high crescent lunge, and then take a second to get settled in here. So sit down low into your lunge. Eventually your right thigh is going to come parallel to the ground. Reach back with your left heel and reach up with the back of your left knee. Make sure your hips are square to the front of the room, and then take these lower ribs and see if you can close them in towards each other. So keep the energy really in your core. Chest open, sides of your neck back, and then maybe look up between your hands. You have 2 more breaths like this. Spin your pinkies towards each other, bring your biceps to surround your ears. Last breath in, and then exhale, lower your hands down. Take your right foot back to meet your left. And guess what? We have another side plank. So spin onto your right hand, your right palm when you're ready. Reach your left hand up towards the ceiling. And then again, that modification is there if you need it. If you would like to take it a step further, lift your left leg off your right leg. So it's kind of like a starfish, right? So spread everything out as much as you can. Maybe for your last inhale, reach your left arm forward, really stretch into your rib cage, lift your hips up. And then exhale back to plank pose. Take a vinyasa, so lower all the way down, or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. So all of this core strengthening is really nice for fat burning and really kind of gets your heart rate up. Core is where it's at. If you don't have a strong core, you're going to have a lot of trouble doing a lot of the other poses. So when you're ready, inhale, lift your left leg back and high behind you. Flex your left toes towards your left shin and keep your hips squared. Exhale, step your left foot between your hands, fingertips in line with your toes. When you're ready, get set. Inhale, high crescent lunge on the other side. So right away, sit down low into your lunge. Make your left thigh parallel to the ground if you can. If not, that's what you're working. So draw your right hip forward. At the same time, reach your right heel back, press into the ball of your left foot, really reach up, maybe look up. You've got 1 more really strong inhale here. Spin your biceps towards the back of the room. Exhale, fold, plant your hands around your left foot. Step it back to plank pose. And side plank again. So spin onto your left hand, reach your right arm up towards the ceiling, and here, feel free to modify or fancify. So if you want, lift your right leg off of your left leg, and that can be 1 inch, that can be 30 inches, whatever you're comfortable with. Last inhale, reach your right arm forward towards the front of the room, stretch your right side body. Exhale, back to plank. Inhale here, and then exhale, vinyasa, so chaturanga, or all the way down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, from here, go ahead and come to your hands and knees. Remember forearm plank? So we're going to build on that. We're going to do something a little bit different. Go ahead and drop down to your elbows. Grab opposite elbows to make sure you get that alignment set again, right? So elbows under your shoulders. Put your forearms back down on the mat. We're working towards dolphin pose. So dolphin is kind of like a combination between forearm plank and down dog, meaning you're going to tuck your toes and make down dog legs. So your legs are straight. You can relax your head and look at your feet, except you're pressing really strongly into your forearms and into your elbows. Keep your shoulders away from your ears, so there's lots of space between your ears and your shoulders. And now try to get your legs as straight as you can. Sit your hips up towards the ceiling. From here, so you're already in dolphin pose, right? You're already here. If this is really uncomfortable, try to stay for a few breaths. If you want more, walk your toes in towards your body. So it's going to start to get pretty uncomfortable. You might start cursing me under your breath. Just stay here, work where you are. If this is a little bit too much for you, back off. If it's not enough, walk further forward. And start to feel a lot of heat building in your core and your shoulders. You have 3 more breaths here. You can do it. And last full inhale. Stay for the exhale. And then gently release your knees to the ground. Child's pose. Relax your hips back on your heels and relax your head down. And again, your head can rest on the floor, or it can rest on your forearms or your fists, or a pillow or a blanket or whatever you have at home. So from here, we're going to cool down, take a couple of stretches to just cool off, lower the heart rate. When you're ready, make your way back into tabletop, and then just go ahead and sit down all the way on your mat. So swing your feet out to the front. Straighten your legs in front of you. Flex your toes towards your face, reach your arms all the way up, take a big inhale. And then on your exhale, roll down one vertebra at a time to lie all the way down on your mat. This is what you're waiting for, right? So take an inhale and a good morning stretch. Point your toes towards the front of the room. Point your fingers towards the back of the room. Make everything long. And exhale, arms out to the sides. Hug your knees into your chest. So this is a really nice cooling down pose. If you can get opposite elbows, go for that. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Just grab where you can and then gently compress your knees into your body. So you're compressing the fronts of your hips and you're compressing some lymph nodes here. So this is detoxifying, but it's also just a nice relaxing stretch. You can rock side to side as I'm doing. Give your spine and the muscles around your spine a little bit of a massage. This is called wind relieving pose. So it compresses your intestines and it's wind relieving. If it happens, it happens. You know, there's no harm done. Reach your tailbone down towards the mat to lengthen your lower back. From here, if you're rocking side to side, gently come to a still position. Keep your knees bent, but now reach inside your legs to grab the outside edges of your feet for happy baby pose. So happy baby is soles of your feet facing the ceiling, and then you just use your arms to pull your feet down, pull your knees down towards your armpit. And of course they don't have to touch the floor, but it's just a nice gentle hip opening stretch. And here you can rock side to side if you'd like to. You can maybe play with straightening one leg or the other or both. It's up to you. Just find a place to relax and open. Reach your tailbone down towards the end of the mat, lengthen your lower back. We've got another couple breaths here. And then gently just hug your knees back into your chest. Bring the soles of your feet to the mat. And then widen your feet to mat's width distance. Let your knees fall in towards one another. Just gently windshield lever your knees from side to side, releasing out your spine. Let your knees fall to the left. Reach your arms out like wings or a cactus, depending on how much room you have. And then take your gaze to the right. So easy spinal twist. If you want a little bit more, you can put your your left heel on the outside of your right knee, kind of guide your knee down a little bit. And just relax here. Maybe both shoulders reach down into the mat. Come back to center. And then switch to the other side. Let your knees just easily fall to the right. And then let your gaze go to the left. And again here, if you need more, put your right heel on the outside of your left knee and just gently relax it down. And both shoulders can relax down to the mat. If that's not happening, it's okay. It's just, some of us are tighter than others. So, the more yoga you do, the more open you get. Another couple breaths here. And release, come back to center. And your last pose is Shavasana, or corpse pose. So find a place where you can just relax and forget everything for the next few minutes. Traditional Shavasana is just lying on your back. with your feet falling open to the sides to release your hips. Your palms are facing up to release your shoulders. And then just softly let your eyes close, let your breath slow down. And just take a few minutes here to just relax. Let the work that you did integrate into your body. Start to deepen your breath. And then keeping your eyes closed, gently roll over onto one side or the other. Fetal position. Just let your whole body rest. And then slowly, sweetly, with your eyes closed, just softly, gently push yourself up to a seated position. Cross your legs if it's comfortable for you. Maybe keep your eyes closed. Bring your hands to your knees with your palms facing up. Take a big breath in. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Bow your chin to your chest. And thank yourself for the work that you just did.